Something enormous is stirring just below the surface in America these days, something powerful and undeniable. It's hard to put a name on it using your brain, but it absolutely is present in here in the spirit. All the great fears of the deep state, they look like they're beginning to materialize with the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey for lying under oath to Congress. It's also the signal that much, very much in fact, has changed since MAGA has taken control in D.C., or at least a semblance of control. In years past, for example, the Marxist media would be twisting people's minds like they successfully did in 2020 about first, the Hunter laptop story, and then secondly, the legitimacy of the outcome of that election. Today, things look much more like this. Nice little artist touch there. A crumbling empire of lies, distortions, and falsehoods. The media gave an air of legitimacy to the deep state, serving as their propaganda arm. But when alternative media types started hitting social media and telling the truth, well, it began the process of deterioration for the deep state. Sure, the old, familiar, lying, phony journalists, they're not journalists. I was a journalist. They're not journalists. That will still rush to the defense of Comey and company, but this time there actually is a new media to counter them. That's really the first time. Sure, the 24 election had that feel about it too, and there's lots of stuff and everything, and it certainly helped propel Trump into the White House. But this stuff isn't about an election. This is about a trial. This is about putting that deep state on trial. So that new media, collectively, is so powerful now and has so many listeners and viewers, that's why they all want to censor them, that it seems next to impossible that the old guard, that old lying crap media, will capture and advance the narrative like they're so used to doing. Something enormous is stirring just below the surface in America these days, something powerful and undeniable. It's hard to put a name on it using your brain, but it absolutely is present in here in the spirit. How will this all play out? Well, we're about to see. In typical cheating deep state government form, Comey's criminal case has been given to a Biden-appointed judge in D.C. Shock. Are there any non-Obama and Biden-appointed judge in D.C.? The evidence, so overwhelming that it actually constitutes proof, is plain as day. Comey lied under oath. Even a D.C. grand jury came back with 2 out of 3 charges being sufficient probable cause to go to trial. This is a position that normal Americans, meaning patriots who love the country, love our country, rarely found ourselves in. On the offense, with one of the top-tier crooks standing there in the docket. Now the question is, will the crooked judge, because he's Biden-appointed, so yes, he's a crooked judge, let him off with some phony, sideways, out-of-nowhere, never-before-heard-of, jacked-up legal reasoning? Well, as long as all this keeps happening and taking place and unfolding in D.C., that is a possibility that can never be removed from the table. He might throw out the most serious charge, again, with some crazy legal jacked-upness, and leave the least damaging charge in place so that he can then, after a trial, instruct the jury before they go to get into sequester and tell them, well, they're essentially you have to look at it this way and that way and twist it and view this and everything, all with the idea that when they go into the jury room and come up with a verdict, they're going to come back with not guilty. Remember, the grand jury, the jury pool, the judge himself, are all in the geographical heart of the swamp. Corruption occurs nowhere in the world like it does in D.C. And D.C. votes 98% Democrat every election. It'd be a total shock if in that environment Comey will actually be found guilty and then sentenced to cool his heels in a federal pen. That is what should happen. If it will, we'll have to see. But in the meantime, it's clear there's a new sheriff in town, and he is determined to bring justice for the country. And speaking of justice, remember, it's ultimately a spiritual quality, restoring a sense of balance to the universe. It's a moral balance, a spiritual balance. That's what's really at stake here. Not if Comey lied to the United States Congress while under oath. That's all that's been proven and established. What matters most is if any justice can ever arise from the deep state environment. And the justice is for the people. Coming to you from Houston, Texas, I'm Gary Michael Voris. God love you.